The Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game has gone through significant change since the beginning, through the introduction of Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, and Pendulum monsters. But wait, aren't we forgetting one? That's right, the XC monsters. Now, for every new incarnation of a unique card, there has to be a weakness to them. A buster, if you will. These busters are mainly cards that are designed to counteract a specific card type, power, or just a whole type or attribute in general. Examples of these can range from being solely made to counter dragon-type monsters, or being completely made to counter rituals, fusions, and others of the sort. In this case, I am referring to the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, the main antagonistic dragon of the series. 3,000 attack points, 200,500 defense. Its special ability allows that when it attacks an XC monster, both of them are removed from play, and when they come back into play, all the overlay units, what the XCs use to trigger their abilities, are removed. And for every overlay unit, Galaxy Eyes gets a power bonus. Now, yes, that is OP, and for most XCs players, Galaxy Eyes is a near-death sentence. And that is why Galaxy Eyes was owned by the main antagonist, Kite. Kite used Galaxy Eyes to hunt down other numbers to help his brother, but those who watch the show probably already know that. But unbeknownst to Kite, or at least as far as I know, there were numbers and Xyz monsters that could counteract his Galaxy Eyes. So the counter became the countered. So, that's what I'm here to show you today. Hello everybody, my name is DragonSpine123, and I am here to bring you a list of the top 5 Xyz monsters that can counter Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. And without further ado, I build the overlay network. Okay, let's set some ground rules. Number 1. It must have some advantage over Galaxy Eyes. If it has more than one advantage, well, it'll be higher on the list. 2. It can't be any variation of Galaxy Eyes. So Galaxy Eyes Tachyon and Galaxy Eyes Prime Dragons are a no-go. Without further ado, let's begin. Number 5. Number 35. Ravenous Tarantula. Number 35, Ravenous Tarantula, is a dark attribute, rank 10, insect exceeds effect monster with 0 attack and defense points. Now I know what you're thinking. How can this thing stand up to something that's equivalently a blue-eyes white dragon? Well, here's how. Its attack points, along with any other monster you control, will gain the equivalent of the difference between yours and your opponent's life points. So if the difference is 3,000, its attack points will be 3,000. And while it has overlay units, each time your opponent special summons a monster, you can inflict 600 points of damage, which, if you're a Galaxy Eyes user, you're going to want to special summon it. Also, once per turn, you can detach an overlay unit and destroy all face-up attacking monsters with less or equal to tarantulas. So, not only could it have an attack point advantage, it also has an ability advantage to destroy Galaxy Eyes, along with damage your opponent. So, not too strong, but very strong indeed. Number 4. Number 23. Lancelot the... Number 23. I don't know why, but this monster looks oddly familiar. Oh well. Lancelot, the Dark Knight of the Underworld, is a rank 8 dark attribute zombie Xyz effect monster with 2,000 attack and 1,500 defense. It requires 2 level 8 monsters to Xyz summon. Now, This card might not have attack advantage over Galaxy Eyes, but it has an effect advantage. This card can attack your opponent directly while it has XC overlay units. When it inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls and destroy it. Or, once per turn during either player's turn, when a spell or trap card or another monster's effect is active, like Galaxy Eyes' when he attacks for instance, you can detach one Xyz monster overlay unit from this card and negate the activation. Now, I have to say, aside from the familiarity, this is a great effect. Mainly because all it takes is one act of despair and you can put Galaxy Eyes out of commission. Or if you're like me, you just add Megamorph. So, it's a very practical ability. And, by God, I swear this thing looks familiar. Number 22, Zombie Stein. A dark attribute rank 8 zombie Xyz effect monster with 4,500 attack points and 1,000 defense. It requires 2 level 8 dark attribute monsters in order to exceed summon. I'm not even going to beat around the bush. This is probably one of the most powerful zombie type monsters in the game, if not true. Not only is it as powerful as a Blue Eyes Ultimate, I mean, come on. It's Frankenstein. But in a fight with Galaxy Eyes, names don't matter. Here's the stats. Must be XC summoned, not special summoned by any other ways. That sucks. And once per turn, during either player's turn, you can detach one overlay unit from this card, send one card from your hand to the graveyard, and target one face-up monster your opponent controls. You can change the battle position of that card into defense. You can change that card into defense mode. If you do, that face-up card has its effects negated until the end of the turn. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of people can see where I'm going with this. Just add a little Junk Barrage or Fairy Meteor Crush, and you can deal a total of 2,000 points of damage. So, raw offensive power and forcing your opponent into defending is the main key of this creature. Also, I figured out why number 23 was so familiar. See these two? Yeah, that's what they remind me of. Number 2. Number 59. Number 59. Crooked Cook. Crooked Cook is a rank 4 fire attribute warrior Xyz effect monster with 2,300 attack and 200 defense. It requires 2 level 4 monsters in order to exceed summon. Now, we all like a good cook, and it hates to have a sour cook in the kitchen. And that's what this Crooked Cook is. While you control no other cards on the field, this card is unaffected by other card effects. And, although that sounds impractical considering the attack points, here's the rest of it. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach one Xyz overlay unit from this card and destroy as many other monsters you control as possible. This card then gains 300 attack until the end of this turn for each monster destroyed by this effect and sent to the graveyard. So, here's the strategy. Fill up your field with tokens. Because, honestly, if you're one of those guys who uses a toolbox deck or has important monsters to his strategy, I'd recommend using tokens. With this effect, Crooked Cook can gain a total of 1,200 attack points, which is more than higher than Galaxy Eyes. And since your field will be empty except for Crooked Cook, all of Galaxy Eyes' attributes, including its effect to banish it, will be negated. So, this cook has got a fiery temper, and he's ready to serve up some dragon. And number 1, number 46, Dragolon. Number 46, Dragolon is a light attribute rank 8 Dragon Xyz effect monster with 3,000 attack and defense points. It requires 2 level 8 dragon monsters in order to exceed summon. I personally use Blue Eyes White Dragon, and I use this card in combination with Azure Eyes Silver Dragon. Anyway, once per turn, if you control no other monsters, you can detach one overlay unit to activate one effect out of 3. Effect number 1. Special summon one dragon-type monster from your hand. Number 2. Target one dragon-type monster your opponent controls and take control of that target. Number 3. Dragon-type monsters your opponent controls cannot activate their effects until the end of your opponent's turn. Now that is interesting. At least 2 of those effects counteract Galaxy Eyes. Not only that, but number 46 also has the same attack points. So Galaxy Eyes wouldn't gain much aside from a suicide attack. So not only could you banish an overlay unit and gain control of Galaxy Eyes, you can also use that overlay unit to negate Galaxy Eyes' effect. And with the effect gone, you can pretty much just wail on it, suicide it, and then use Azure Eyes Silver Dragon to bring back any normal type dragons you might have used to overlay it with, like Blue Eyes White Dragon. And that is all. I hope you enjoyed the list. This is my own personal rendition of what to do against Galaxy Eyes. Now keep in mind, this is all if Galaxy Eyes is alone on the field. This is not considering any other traps, spells, monster effects, etc. But that is what dueling decks are for. We build them to evolve. We build them to advance, and we learn from our mistakes. My name is Dragonspine123, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye!